we should have that one. All right. So today's Bindu, just for your information, this session is like attending by my team in Jaipur and across India. Like we have an office, and apart from we have some DTO scholars as well, like who are in our community, DTO scholars who are joined our courses and all. So they are also part of this session. So to just introduce Bindu and for setting the tone for the today's session, the today's session will be very short, not so lengthy, but yes, that would be very interactive as the Bindu is from Climate Interactive. So that will be make it a more interactive session. So let me share a profile about Bindu and then we shall have, yeah, just a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Hope my screen is visible to all. So Bindu is an outreach and engagement manager in Climate Interactive, and she is a climate change communicator from Nepal. And she holds a master degree in climate change science and policy from University of Bristol, UK. Over the last 8 years, she has been engaging people from diverse backgrounds in climate action, both locally and globally. She uses interactive climate models and simulation games, world climate simulations, climate action simulation, and workshops. EnROADS, like today we will get to know about the what is EnROADS and to cultivate discussion and inspire addressing climate change. So I welcome Bindu for this session in a short session on the EnROADS that we were discussing, and just share from my end, like Bindu and myself are in one community, which is a Youth for Sustainability India Alliance. So we both are the alliance member of that alliance in India. Thank you. Bindu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Anuj. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
Perfect. So, like Anuj mentioned, this session will be relatively short. So, I would want you to treat this as a teaser for what is out there, the work of Climate Interactive. Of course, for deep diving into what we really do, what the tool EnROADS, which I will talk about in a minute, does. I would like to invite you to another session, which will be led by our co-founder Andrew Jones, and that is going to take place on 27th of January. I'll share the link later after the discussion. So yes, I work with Climate Interactive for the past 3 years, but I have been using the tools that are developed by Climate Interactive for the last 7 years or so. Just to set the context, Climate Interactive is a not for profit think tank that is based out of DC. But of course, the tools developed by Climate Interactive are global in nature. And as a not for profit think tank, all the tools, trainings, and resources that we have developed are available for free to anyone who is interested in using them and making a difference. So, I would like to share my screen, I guess. That will make it easier. Give me a second as I figure out this. I hope you can share my screen, right?
Yeah, your screen is visible. Just go to the presentation one.
Sure. So, yeah, I haven't made any formal presentation because, again, the tool in itself is
All
interactive,
right.
which means that we won't necessarily need another set of presentation. So, EnROADS, the tool that I'll be showing you in a minute, stands for Energy Rapid Overview and Decision Support. So this is the homepage to the tool, EnROADS. So if you just type in the browser enroads.org, it will lead you to this page.
Bindu, just sorry for the interruption. Like your browser is not visible. Only the Teams screen is visible as of now.
Oh,
Teams window is open. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Give me a second. I think I need to adjust my settings to. Okay.
Yes,
Does
it is. It's perfect now. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. So yes, EnROADS, the tool is a short form. It stands for Energy Rapid Overview and Decision Support. It is a global policy simulation model. So if you just visit enroads.org by just typing in your browser, you will get to land at this page, which is situated within Climate Interactive's web page. And there you can access all the resources for free, of course. So I'll now take you to the EnROADS simulator itself. So this is the default interface of the simulator. The simulator is developed by Climate Interactive, the organization that I work with, together with MIT. So it was publicly launched in 2019 during COP25 in Madrid. And since then, we have had more than 1,000 facilitators who have run this event in, I guess, around 80 countries or so around the world. And in this simulator, the main purpose of this simulator is to deliver systems insight which are policy relevant. So it is not policy prescriptive. It doesn't necessarily say like what policies exactly needs to be enacted, but rather gives a holistic picture of what exactly is necessary for us, what is high leverage solution, what is low leverage solution, and given the amount of time that we have to address climate emergency, what really makes a difference, and what are the areas in which different companies, different individuals, different organizations can make the highest difference that is possible. So that is the overall overarching objective of this tool. And this is based on the system dynamics, principles of system dynamics and systems thinking, which means that the tool incorporates feedback loops, things such as progress ratio, delays, sensitivities in price, and all other basic principles that are incorporated within the system dynamics and systems thinking concept. So in this default interface, you can see on the left, I would just like to orient you towards what the tool, how the tool looks like. So on the left, you can see this graph represents global sources of primary energy mix. So we have coal in brown, oil in red, gas in natural gas in blue. We have renewables in green, bioenergy. We also have nuclear in teal. We also have one more option called New Zero, which is slightly orange alloys in color, but you don't see it here because New Zero, which you can see in the slider, if you can see my cursor over here, this is what we are envisioning as if there is a breakthrough in such technology in maybe near future, or we don't know for sure, which does not emit any greenhouse gas emissions, but is very cheap. And if such technology exists, then if we envision such scenario, then it means that we have new zero carbon technology. It could be maybe thorium-based nuclear fission, maybe some kind of nuclear fusion. We don't know yet. It is just a possibility, let's say, for now. So this is the graph on the left, and on the right, you can see in this default interface, we have greenhouse gas net emissions. So from 2000 out to 2100, by the end of this century, we can see there is this gradual increment in the total emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, which leads us to around 3.6 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of the century. So this is in relation to the pre-industrial temperature. So 3.6 degrees Celsius, which of course is very detrimental and catastrophic. As you might be already aware, during Paris in 2015, all leaders agreed that we will try and limit our global rise of temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius and make an effort for 1.5 degrees Celsius. So here, this was the upper half in which there were two graphs, and in this lower half, you can see there are different sliders, 18 sliders in total, which includes sliders on different energy source mix, but also on transportation sector, buildings and industry. We have two sliders dedicated. We also have sliders related to population and economic growth, sliders related to land and industry emissions, and also sliders that are responsible for carbon removal. Again, this is the default interface. And if you click three small dots over here, you can go to the detailed settings for each and every slider. So for all these 18 sliders, you can dive into the detailed settings and change things in parts and pieces as you see fit or as you'd like to test. What you can do with the simulator is, as as already it implies in its name itself, it is interactive. So whenever you move any of the slider, you can see the changes immediately. So this model has around 14,000 nonlinear differential equations, and whenever you move a slider, all those computing happens in less than 60 milliseconds at a time step of 45 days over the course of the simulation running from 1990 all the way to 2100. Although in the graph, you can see it is from 2000 out to 2100, but the actual simulation runs from 1990 to 2100. That is by the end of this century. So that's it. This tool, how we usually use is in the form of facilitated discussion. One is in the form of workshop, which we also call as policy testing workshop, or just generally as EnROADS climate workshop, which really aims to kind of ask people about what their mental model is on different solutions that are out there regarding climate change. For example, many people think that deforestation is very helpful. Of course, it is, but how much would deforestation help in bringing down this temperature curve and making an effort towards Paris Agreement? So, this EnROADS tool essentially helps you create scenarios and test with different solutions and see for yourself like what really works, what is high leverage, and where we can make the difference. So I'm just moving it randomly over here, just trying out different solution. And as you can see, as I move the sliders, you can notice changes out there and out here. But we have many more graphs. These two are just the default graphs. We have around close to, I guess, 100 graphs by now. So you can, if you just click the title of any of the graph here on the left or on the right, you can actually navigate through a lot of different graph options. For example, coal primary energy demand over here. You can also see final energy consumption, carbon intensity of final energy, a lot of different options over here. So this is a very quick intro. I would just like to say, address few of the questions that may be brewing in your mind as I'm talking through and moving these sliders is, where do we get our data from? The questions that we often get asked is, basically, how do we trust your tool? I think people are really curious to know about what are the different sources that are being used to make this model. We often say that this model is based on the latest science and the best available science. So how do we ensure that is we update our model very frequently. So with these new updates, we incorporate latest science, but also are making effort to add more and more features to the graphs. And recently we added a lot of graphs also relating to what are the, for example, impacts of climate change. So you can see we have a lot of different graphs related to air pollution from energy sector, sea level rise, flood risk map. We also have a map on ocean acidification, decrease in crop yield, additional death from extreme heat, etc., etc. So this is about the model. Coming back to the question about where do we get our data from? So EnROADS uses a lot of different peer-reviewed literature and also calibrates all its finding towards larger integrated assessment models, which are out there, climate and energy models, and make sure that our findings and our outcomes are not kind of supplanting, but kind of complementing to what bigger models, reports from IPCC, all those integrated assessment models basically are saying. So yes, what next? Yes, about the language. So the default language is English, but we have EnROADS available in 12 different languages. And we are also getting in touch with some of the volunteers who are interested to translate this tool into Hindi language. So hopefully soon that will also be available. I'll reset the graph. What you can do next is you can also create different scenarios and share them in your social media, or just copy the link, share it in LinkedIn, all those platforms. So these are just additional features that you have over here. So what is cool about this tool is it is very transparent tool. And when I say transparent, by that I mean most of the almost all of the model structure, assumptions, and features are available for anyone to view. So if you just click on this tab over here, there is this bar over here in the help section. If you just click there, you can see there is this tab called EnROADS User Guide. If you just click, it will lead you to the user guide. So this user guide basically has details on each and every slider, but also additional graphs. So this user guide is more about orienting you towards what is out there. But if you are someone who is really data savvy and would like to really dig deeper into what are the model assumptions, more into numbers and the structures, for that we have EnROADS reference guide. I have opened it here, so it is again available in our website. EnROADS. So this is over 400 pages, and you can, if you'd really like to get a very closer look into what are our assumptions, what are the model structures, how do we calculate, for example, demand, supply, and what is the logic behind the model, basically, you can refer to this reference guide, which is over 400 pages. And all these are again available in our website, free of cost, of course. If you just go through the EnROADS web page, you can see all the different resources are listed out there. There is a simulator. There are also some video materials, reference guide, the EnROADS reference guide that I just showed to you. We also have a training plan in which you can really get into deeper into model structure, learn about the assumptions behind the model, but also how to facilitate, for example, workshop or also role-playing game. So all the resources are out there. And in this short section, all I would like to say is just check it out for yourself and see how you can make it useful for your work individually or at your company or wherever you see fit. So I think it's good for me to pause for now. I'm sure you must have a lot of questions and I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Bindu. Like that's a great interactive tool that I can see on the screen. So, Bindu, I have a couple of questions. Then we will take a question from other people. Like we have seen that as we're changing the that slider and all, we are getting the result on the graphs and the temperature is increasing or decreasing. But where we can use this results, like if as a consultant we are working in the building industry, okay, so we are doing a building projects and all. So how we can use for that project, how we can use for this industry projects, like how the carbon emission is happening from the industry. So this tool where we can use the applications of this tool, just you share
Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, coming to the uses of this tool has been used by people from like different walks of life. We have people from the corporate sectors who are using it. We have PepsiCo, we have HSBC, which are using this model to kind of start this discussion on what really matters in a holistic way. So if someone is just focused on what action can I take individually, this may not be the best suitable tool for that. Where it is really useful, this tool is to help people see, for example, if you are consulting someone who is really willing to go net zero and towards carbon neutrality, for example, in that case, of course, building is one large part of it. But again, what are the different components of this whole ecosystem that comes into play for some businesses, for some company, for some organizations to really reduce their emission? I think that is where this tool comes handy. So, for example, HSBC has been using this tool especially to train their corporate partners about how they can help people understand, their client understand energy transition, as more and more businesses are talking about energy transition in terms of investment, where to really put their money on. In that case, for example, this tool really help people see, for example, where the future lies and how much of a difference, for example, is energy efficiency in buildings and industry a high leverage solution as compared to maybe afforestation, as compared to maybe deforestation? How much of a difference does it make actually if the action is taken at a global level? So the discussion here is so the tool kind of helps kind of craft that discussion and helps people see either zoom out and see the overall picture, and from that, depending on who you are dealing with, who your client is and what their interest is, you can zoom in and just focus on one specific portion of it. But I think the main objective here with this tool and where it can be really be helpful is for people to see it and visualize it themselves. Of course, there are a lot of studies that have been coming out with hundreds and hundreds of pages and in bulk written, like this and this works, this is this and this is this much, etc., etc. But oftentimes, like when something like that, some those research findings are translated into something that is visually interactive, I think that is easier for to grab attention. So this is really to craft this discussion about what really works and what needs to be done for peoples and industry overall to make sure that Paris Agreement is met. So that is one way I can envision the tool being used. Or in other cases, there are people who are using this tool as a consultant individually, not consulting on one specific aspect, but because as climate and energy consultant, and using this tool really to as a hook for to delivering trainings, to delivering workshops, and yeah, we have ambassadors from, I guess, Russia, who are doing this consultancy using this tool. So you can use it individually. I can also see this being a part of your wider workshop and your training process. This may not be, of course, the only tool for you because you deal specifically with the green buildings. And although buildings and industries, you can see, is a part of this simulator as a whole, but it doesn't have like maybe all the necessary components that you would want. But to make people who are interested in sustainability see a holistic picture and really address what is meaningful action, I think this is the area where it really helps. Basically, to challenge the mental model of people. Of course, even for people who are working in sustainability sector, oftentimes like we have one or more favorite solution, or we have this kind of mindset that, all right, planting thousands of trees, 100 billions of trees might be the miracle solution that everyone is hoping for or are looking forward to. But is it really? Of course, afforestation might have its own advantages, but is that the miracle solution that we all are looking for to solve climate change? Maybe not. Then what else is needed? What else is high level solution? Does carbon price make a huge difference? Yes, it does. But what are the other implications of having such a high carbon price, especially on developing and least developed countries? So these are all the questions that can be a follow up to the initial discussion. So this tool can come handy as a in the very beginning, just to ground the conversation about what really works. For example, why energy efficiency in building and industry is such a high leverage solution. Just to show them visually, for example, if I just move this slider on energy efficiency in building and industry, you can see that zero point 0.4 degrees Celsius reduction temperature. That's a huge change from one slider itself.
Right. Very valid. That's a very great thing. Bindu, one more thing, like as I can see on the graph, it is a global. It's showing global. So do we have a specific to the country, like as we are in India or in different countries? So as we have results specific to the country, how it is impacting?
Unfortunately, not. Again, this because the modeling in itself, like this model, although we released it in 2019, the work behind this dates back to 1990s. It's based on the PhD thesis of some of the professors who are now in the MIT. So again, it has a lot of work has gone into building this model, and when we think of like disaggregating it further to country level, there are different dynamics, of course, related to trade and boundaries, etc. So which makes it a little tricky to make it, yeah, country specific. So at the moment, no, this model is only global, and we don't have immediate plans to launch country specific model.
All right, all right. So Bindu, can you put like on the building and industry? Can you put what is the point? Sub tabs in the tabs in energy efficiency.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure. So
what are the
buildings
things
and
out?
industry, if I go to
Yes.
the detailed settings over here, so we just have three sections over here. So by default, energy efficiency of new buildings and industry in the baseline scenario, we are imagining. So this 1.2% is the energy intensity of new buildings and industry. So by in the baseline scenario, we see that there is increase of 1.2% per year. So this is a development based on the historical trends, what is going on. So this is the baseline scenario. So you can choose to ramp it up and make it go up to all the way up to 5% per year. Again, if you'd like to know details about what this slider really means, if you click this little triangle over here, a sub description is given for each and every settings. And start year by default is 2021. It will soon be changed to 2022. And the next setting over here is rate of buildings and industry retrofitting. So the first one is for new buildings, and this is for retrofitting. So in the baseline scenario, we are imagining 5% per year, and the maximum it can go is up to 20% per year. And if we imagine that no, it goes the downwards direction, then we can also say that there is no retrofitting. Well, we can say that there won't be any retrofitting, and it can be set to 0% per year.
All right.
So this might feel relatively simple, but again, this buildings and industry energy efficiency is just one component of this entire ecosystem of solutions.
All right. The another question, because this seems very interactive, so I have a lot of questions is coming in my mind.
Sure.
As you shared, we can share this our scenario on in the picture format. So do we have a, like a in place report, like a report can be generated from this tool itself directly
Uh,
in the PDF format?
you mean in the form of data, all the data that are.
Yes, like in the form of PDF. Like if I change anything, and I can download the report in the form of PDF.
Oh, no, not really. But you can
Okay,
share it can be
link.
in the form of like link, yeah. And even if the model is updated, the link won't get like you can still open that link and get to the newest version of the tool. So yeah,
Okay.
the link won't be erased or get modified. So yeah, it comes in the link form.
All right. So I request other people, if you have any questions for Bindu, you can ask and you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. Anyone for this tool?
Yes. So, yeah, hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is follow up to this same stereo scenario. How does it look like? The only about two graphs get displayed in that link. Like for
No,
example,
so
yeah,
yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll just do it and show it. So if I copy scenario link, I copied it, and if I just open a new tab and just paste it over there, it will redirect you to the simulator itself, and you can see the exact changes. Sorry, I didn't make any changes over here. So let me just create a quick scenario. We are imagining the highest possible energy efficiency, more renewable, less coal, this so if I just click share your scenario and copy scenario link or share it in Twitter in whatever format, it copies at the link to the model itself. So when you open the model, it will just get you to the exact same changes that you made while creating that scenario.
okay. So it's again it's the same interactive model. It's not any image or PDF thing.
No, it is the model itself. No, it is not the image.
And from the like as Bindu, you mentioned that is it is having 100 more graphs, so you can see the 100 more graphs from clicking on the tab. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
from
yes. If you just click on this, on this graph title, then you can see there are different titles, and even within those titles, there are other graphs. So global sources of primary energy. We have on CO2 emissions. We also have impact graph. We have graph on finance cost of energy, carbon price, revenue, and cost from all these different graphs on land use.
Can
Close
you
to
just open one?
100 graphs.
Any of apart from this? Right?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. I can, for example, show you energy, yeah, air pollution from energy. So this is the reduction in the PM 2.5 emissions. So the black line over here is baseline scenario. That is meaning if no action is taken further than what is already in place. But because we have taken some actions and we have got down to 2.9 degrees Celsius from baseline 3.6, you can see there how like the decrease is there and the change is visible. So this is one of the when people actually see that, okay, this is the kind of benefits that we really get from taking action, then I think it is really eye-opening for people to see it in the graph. You know, people may be hearing it in words, but when they see it in graph, I think it grabs attention like very quickly. We have experienced that with our workshops.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Any other questions from anyone? You can unmute yourself. You can ask your questions.
So my question is correlated to your previously asked question that the trajectories and the values that we have taken into this simulator, I think that is for the global, if we are taking the global level. So are we any chance coming up for the like country wise, or how can we make sure that the findings that we are coming through are useful in our areas of project?
Yeah, that's a great question. But again, because the tool is global in nature, we haven't disaggregated the data or outcomes based on the country specific label. So at the moment, no, you won't be able to see like how much of that would come from, for example, India or US or EU. But again, the real our objective really here is to kind of give that holistic picture and let people see like what the bigger picture looks like in addressing climate change, what actually is needed globally. So yeah, not specific to country, but yeah, it talks more about what is needed at a global scale.
Okay.
And then if you are using the tool and as an expert in your relative field, I think it will kind of help you kind of link that to what the scenario is, what the current trend is like in your country. For example, if we say, for example, buildings and industry have potential of up to 5% energy intensity increase by the end of the century, maybe, then what does it mean for India as someone expert in your own country? I think you can make it contextual and link it back to what the global context is and what it means for a specific country.
Okay, so the report, if you're submitting to any project or any consultant in terms of emissions, so this is going to be certified, like the certifications, if we are asking like for the reports and the simulation and results that we are getting from the software. So what are those certifications, like the base of the data you guys have collected to, to make these linear equations you told us about?
Yeah, so we are in the process of publishing peer reviewed article on the model itself and what the model does. So that is in progress. But of course, the model is there, has been used by, we have developed it with MIT. So if needed, we actually on our side provide training certificate to people who have undergone training. So this training is called Mastering EnROADS Training Series. Again, we provide it for free. We used to do it live, but our third live session has ended and now it is available online. You can finish it at your self pace, and after you complete the training and do two practice session, you can do it with two friends, you can do it to a whole bunch of students, to a whole bunch of your colleagues. After doing two practice session and going through the training, we provide you the certificate of ambassador. So that would be kind of the certificate that you have gone through the trainings. But if you just want to use the tool without going to the training itself and without becoming an ambassador, of course you can do that, and you can always give reference to our tool EnROADS. It's already been used by over 80,000 people, I guess, in 80 countries or something like that. Again, everything is available in the website, and you can give it as a reference, I guess.
Okay, ma'am, can you please tell us a little more about how to get registered for this training and how can we go through
Sure.
that?
Yeah, definitely. Let me do two things quickly. I'll just share those two links with you. So the one link is to invite you to our upcoming session. So we have this webinar that is upcoming. Again, the one that I just described, again, this was in a very short time, so it was quite a rushed presentation. But I am just sharing the link. So we have this webinar coming in on 27th of January. So that is coming Thursday. It will be around 5:30 p.m., 5:30 or 5 p.m. Indian time. That is 7 a.m. Eastern time. You can register for this webinar, which gives you more in-depth discussion on what the model does or what it doesn't do. And you can also ask all the detailed questions to our co-founder, Andrew Jones, who will be presenting. So this is the webinar. And for the training, if you'd like to join our Mastering EnROADS training series, I'll just share the link with you in a second. Let me find the link for you.
Please share the date again.
27th of January. So
Okay,
that is
okay.
coming Thursday.
It's 27th of January and 5:30 India time.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
7 a.m. Eastern time. That is
Yeah, we are
5:30
looking
p.m.
forward to
Yeah.
that.
So request to all, please attend that workshop, that the webinar, which is going to happen on 27th. And as Bindu mentioned, there's a free training available on Climate Interactive website. You can just have a look on the training, register for the same, join it, and check it out what is there.
Yeah.
That's
Let
really
me.
great.
Yes. Just give me a second. I'm dropping the link to the training again. All the resources as a not-for-profit think tank, we are making it available for free. So just make use of it. I hope you will be able to make use of it.
Great, great, great. Any other questions
Yes,
from anyone?
Um, Hello, a very good evening. I just have a doubt. Am I audible?
Yes, Rupal, you're
Yeah.
audible.
Okay. Yeah, I have a doubt that in this software, you shown us that we are getting the data in a we have like data is represented in a graphical manner. Is there any way we can get the values as well? Because mostly people want the percentage increase and reduction in deduction.
Yep.
So even not in the outcome, as well as since you are sliding, increasing or decreasing, that we are increasing forestation and deforestation likewise. So there is no percent or values are being mentioned there, so like how much we are increasing and how much we are decreasing. So
That's a great question. That's a great question. Like I said, because this was a rushed presentation, maybe I didn't clarify it. The tool in itself is an interactive tool, so you can see the values themselves. Let me again share my screen quickly and show it very quickly to you. So all the values, all the numbers, you can see it in the tool itself. Can you see my screen again? I hope yes, right?
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So if you just, for example, in this graph, if you just hover over the point where you want, for example, 2029, what is the value for 2034? You can see all the values over here, right? So this is one way in the graphs. And for the electrification, for example, or for the deforestation, what does this value mean? If you want to know, then if you click these three dots and then go over here, then you can see what percent is it. So is it 0.4 percentage? Is it 9 percentage? What percentage is it? Or what year, which year is it? You can easily see it over their numbers. So in the default interface, to keep it simple, you may not see the numbers. It just says highly reduced, highly increased. But if you go to the detailed settings, you can see the numbers and percentage for each and every value. And if you would like to know more about how those, what are the sources behind these values, then again, you can refer to the reference guide and our user guide, which has detailed settings. So if you click this help link over here and go to click this EnROADS user guide. So EnROADS user guide, here is this guide. Again, this guide has information on like what are the slider settings, what are the values, what does it mean to be highly taxed, very highly taxed, etc. So all the information is out there. The tool is interactive. If you just hover over the point, and if you here in the graph, so what does this mean? What does this bulk? What does this waste mean? If you just hover over this any of the graphs, you can see the numbers actually for each and everything. Hope that clarifies it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure.
Perfect. Any other questions from anyone? All right. So I think we are good with the questions. Still, if you are having, when you go to the tool
Yep.
on the Climate Interactive website, just explore it. And a request to all the people, you can do today, tomorrow, and check out the results, what is coming, share on the social media, tag Bindu and me as well tag Climate Interactive and tag Detour Learning also, so that we know like you are exploring the tool. Okay.
Yeah.
And as Bindu mentioned, please attend the session on 27th of January. I will also share the details, a link again on WhatsApp, on email. So that would be great to have. And till then, I think so that is good. Bindu, do you have any other things would you like to share?
Yeah, just quickly. Yeah, so I have shared 3 links in the chat box. So one is for the upcoming webinar that I mentioned. And the next is about where it says learn.climateinteractive.org. That is the free online course that you can complete at your own pace. And the next is support.climateinteractive.org. If you have any question, we have our support decks available. My colleagues will get back to you within 3 to 5 working days with any questions. If you have questions about the model, how to use it, anything, any questions that you have related to our work or the model, you can definitely write to us, email to us at support.climateinteractive.org. So this is our support decks website. If you just go there, then you can see there is the option to create a ticket and submit it to us. We also have a range of frequently asked questions which already have answers for you to have a look.
And I also shared one link to connect with Bindu on over LinkedIn, so you can connect with Bindu for a regular updates.
That would be really nice. And I hope to see tweets from you, a LinkedIn post from you, sharing your scenarios and making use of the tool. Thank you so much, Onus, for having me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope, again, this was just the teaser, like I mentioned in the very beginning. I invite you to explore the tool by yourself, create scenarios, and also join us for our free training.
All right. Thank you so much, Bindu. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. See you in the next session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Onus. Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.